Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I had a baby 1.5 years ago. Her name is Mila. She's a baby girl and I vlogged it. So my labor and birth vlog is on YouTube and currently it is my #1 most viewed video, which isn't saying much because I am still newer on YouTube, but I thought it'd be cool to sit down and kind of react to it and give you guys a storyline, because looking back, there was a lot of parts that I didn't speak about, or I just kind of want to go more in depth. And when I made this video, I was still really new to vlogging, so yeah, I just feel like I could have put more into it and explained things that were happening better, so that's what we're gonna do today, okay? So first of all, the start of this video could have been a lot better. I wasn't positive that I was for real in labor when I woke up, so I didn't think to start recording, which as a vlogger you should like record any little thing, especially if it has to do with your labor. So I missed that morning footage of like me first starting to get contractions. So I basically just put this like text. So it said, I woke up at 4 a.m. Could I go back to sleep or get comfortable? So the night before, me and my mom, we went to like this game night at my neighbor's, and I had Panda Express. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but it was a little bit spicy. And then I woke up in the middle of the night around 4 a.m. and I just thought it was like my stomach hurting. I may be getting a little bit TMI in this video, so just a fair warning. I woke up at 4 a.m., had to go to the bathroom. It was like number 2, okay you guys? It was a little bit looser. And I guess that's like a really big sign that you're going into labor. It's your body like trying to make room and get ready for labor. So I tried just to go back to sleep, and at 8 o'clock, no, like 7 a.m., because it was before my mom went to work, I went outside and I was like in pain, and she knew right away. She's like, oh, this is it. And at that time I was watching a lot of birth and labor vlogs to prepare, and a lot of the time in the vlogs they would get sent back home, so I was like, no, it's probably not it. But little did I know I was already like 3-4 centimeters dilated. So I asked my stepdad if he could drive me to the hospital, and he's like, cool, can I just shower first? And I swear this man was taking his sweet time because I was on the floor in my bedroom just like dying. But then he finally drove me to the hospital, and every like 5 minutes I was just like holding on to the side of the car. Anyways, that's the start that I missed filming. So here I arrived to the hospital, my mom showed up. She left from her work to meet me at the hospital, and then they admitted me. I think she had hiccups here, because my stomach was like still just dying of contractions. And it's crazy, my face is like, it was so big and swollen. My mom was saying it's weird that they didn't give me a wheelchair, like they just let me walk. I guess that's odd. Then we get set up in my little suite. It was a pretty nice hospital.
Good time to take videos. The diffusers are going.
And they actually made us stop the diffuser. I guess it's a new thing where you don't know who's allergic to the smell, so we had to turn it off. And you see me on my phone a lot. That's because I was like trying to update her dad and his sisters and stuff, because I told him that I was gonna give birth early and he didn't want to listen. I even paid his rent because that was his excuse, that he was worried about paying rent. So I was like, okay, I'll pay it. Still didn't show, but that's okay, I had my mom. What I should have just done was turn my phone off and worry about giving birth. So those were all my contractions. It's so cool to see. Oh, here it was starting to get bad because I had my fan out. I was just like, I was sweating. on my phone. I'm like, this man couldn't have called me? Like, okay, at this point my contractions were so bad, and in my mind it would be awesome if I could do it natural, but I'm still not against the epidural, so I was still trying to like push my limits at this time. So this was probably getting to the worst part of like the pain wise. And I don't think I filmed like me screaming. Like there was a point I was just screaming each contraction, and I knew, I was like, oh, I'm probably scaring all these other pregnant girls that had the epidural, and they're probably like laughing at my pain, but I'm just trying to breathe through it. When I had that barf bag out, I was puking just because it was such an intense pain. The good thing about contractions is it's not like an intense pain forever. You get at least like a little break, and then it happens again, and then a break.
So the doctor came in and broke my water at 12:15. It's now 12:41, and my contractions have gotten so much worse.
So yeah, the doctor came in and broke my water. So I guess they like went up there and it's like a hook and they just like pop it. And it was the weirdest feeling. It was just like a huge gush. And I guess Mila had pooped inside of me. I guess she was just ready to go. So it was like just brown, nasty liquid coming out. Not to gross you out, but, and it doesn't leak like just one gush. It was just, it kept coming. So I have to wear like a little diaper.
That's all lumped up. Oh, not looking forward to the next contraction. Got pretty intense after the water broke, huh? And you were at 12:15, so half an hour ago, 6 centimeters. And you're progressing.
Oh my gosh, I swear after he broke my water, it just went so fast. Like, I went in at 9 o'clock and I gave birth by 3. So what we missed recording was it got really intense. All that filming was before I had the epidural. So I ended up going in the shower, and in my mind I was like, oh, it's gonna be like hot and nice on my back. And the hospital water is not relaxing. It is ice cold. Like, they have no type of heat to it. So I turned it on and just tried to relax in there, but it wasn't working. And I was just in there basically still screaming. That's basically in my mind where I was like, yeah, I'm gonna need this epidural. I was especially just scared of the pain when she was actually physically coming out. I don't know why, just in my mind I was like, I don't want to feel if I tear or anything. I just want to be numb. So I ended up getting it. And I also didn't talk about like the pain of the epidural. So he basically came in and you roll over a little bit. And the best way to describe how it felt like he was just using his finger and like going like that against my spine. So it didn't hurt as much as I thought it would. That was like my biggest fear too, is the epidural, but it turned out okay.
Getting the epidural, I feel a lot better. Yeah. How much better? A lot better.
Now I'm just chilling.
Screaming anymore. Not screaming, crying, throwing up.
So they put that peanut ball in between my legs to help me progress faster, but little did they know I was already like ready to go. They just haven't checked me yet. So right here I'm feeling very uncomfortable, and I thought I just needed more epidural, but turns out like I was just really ready to push. And I'm like, oh, I feel so much pressure down there.
Open your pelvis? Yeah. It's huge. Still a little bit of pain, but a lot bigger. Are you glad you got the epidural?
Oh yeah, I started getting like really shaky.
I'm glad. I feel like I can feel your head like so low.
And now they finally want to check, and I've been ready to push.
You said you feel pressure?
Like, yeah, because her head is
No, you're with the shaking
Were you feeling some pressure like coming and going?
She's like, oh
like
shoot, she's
before the
ready.
epidural, when I was on the ball, I could feel the pressure during the contractions, like she was getting pushed farther down.
Yeah.
During the epidural.
And I'm just chilling, like, I'm just like, yeah.
During the contractions.
That's true. You just said that, and during that last contraction, you're like, I feel her
Oh my
going
God,
down.
I'm like,
Yeah, like when, so I know the contractions are doing their job, they're pushing down. See, that's much more bearable with the epidural.
You're complete. She's like right there.
What?
I guess her head was like
Oh,
What?
right there.
If you're yeah. Okay, perfect. That was really fast. I didn't know what was going on.
Also, I told my doctors from the start when I was pregnant, I was like, I really want to have this on video. And they basically said it shouldn't be a problem, but like the hospital itself will usually tell you straight up, like, no recording of any kind. So my mom, at least when you're giving birth, so my mom set up the camera really quick and just hit record and was hoping that it was like facing the right way and stuff. So I was kind of hoping for like a more angle of like my head and looking down, but I'll take what I can get. So I had to blur out that little square so it didn't show anything.
Okay. Bring your tissue down towards me. Okay. Keep coming. A little bit more. Yeah. Lift your head up for me.
My doctor was awesome too. I think she was newer, but she was awesome. Knew how to talk to you. Oh, but one thing that I forgot to mention is I had my IV put in, and later on you'll see like it's really bloody. Well, I have like a bandage and it's all bloody because they kept missing my vein. So they had to try like 5 different times. But then they had another nurse come in and she got it. So I think I just had like a newer nurse. So I guess here, I think that's like disinfectant or something. Who knows? Probably for if I tear. My mom's all excited to see her hair. That's weird. So it took me a while to really figure out how to push, especially with your epidural. It's just harder to figure it out because you can't really feel anything. So they had to take a few minutes to really like coach me on how to push. So that took a while to like really get it. And when you're pushing, my mouth was getting really, really dry. And just physically, you're just so exhausted that I felt like I couldn't even push. I was like, I cannot imagine women that go like 30 plus hours of labor. This felt like a lot. And I think I pushed for 5 to 10 minutes. So that's what they kept saying was, like, you really have to try to push, and because your baby's heartbeat is getting low, so we might have to use a vacuum to get her out. So I'm like, really gotta go in and push, but I'm like physically exhausted. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. Because it's basically the same thing, just me pushing. Until... I was just dying. Okay, so I think around here. Okay. So I'm like, I could totally tell she was about to come out because, I don't know, it was just this really weird feeling. And then I'm like, ah, and then she's like, okay, push, and she just slides right out. Mila! So I screamed because that was the weirdest feeling. It's like, just slips right out of you. Like, so I was like, ah! I wasn't expecting that feeling. I had to cut that part out because they were like telling my mom, watch her foot, and she's just so like, oh my gosh. She was in shock, I guess, so she like just dropped my foot. And yeah. Such a beautiful moment. Her little cry.
You poopy girl.
So she pooped inside of me, and then she's still pooping like when she comes out. So I'm trying to like hold her and stuff, and they're like, trust me, like you don't want to hold her right now, she keeps pooping. So I'm like, I want to like just put her on my chest, but it was just that awkward moment. So that's now her nickname is Poopy Girl, because that's what the nurses would call her.
Are you gonna cut it? Yes. Yes.
Then my mom cuts the cord. And I'm just like crying. Oh, she's so cute. And I feel like she wasn't as squished as you see some babies. Like she had just her perfectly shaped head. You're so sweet. Oh yeah, and I ended up tearing, I think 2nd degree tear. So I was really uncomfortable here because I'm holding my baby. Obviously you're trying to bond with your baby, but then you look down and she's like, I see the stitches and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I don't do well with like blood or stitches or needles. So I'm like just stiff, like. And I look super uncomfortable because I think there's still like poop up there. So I'm like trying not to get it messy. There she is, cleaning it up. Aw, those little hats are so cute with the bow. I still have it actually. I have like a whole shoebox of her hospital bracelet, her hospital hat. My mom thinks it's so gross. Even in the shoebox I have her dried up umbilical cord. The little piece that falls off, just to clarify. Pooping again. She was like the perfect size too, not too big, not too tiny. So healthy. Oh, she's just like. You're so cute.
And we will get her on the breast because this is going to help her clear up all that gunk. You wanted to breastfeed, right? Yeah. Yeah, okay.
So when she brought her to me to breastfeed for the first time, I thought it was so amazing because I went in there thinking, okay, I know a lot of people have problems with breastfeeding, so I'm not gonna have my heart set on it, but if it works out, it works out. And she brought her to me, and like she knew exactly what she was doing. She just latched on, and I was like, yep, this is for us, we're gonna breastfeed. I thought that was really cool that she just knew exactly what to do, how it's like in babies' instincts. And then she was calm and all was good. Aw, her little head. So cute. Now she's all grown. So then, yeah, you just go into a different room. I wish I would have recorded like 24 hours after labor too, but so much was going on. Let me let you know. Simpson at 3:37 p.m. All those little red little toes. And when she was born, I swear for like 3 or 4 or 6 months, her eyes were like this steel blue. At least in the light, it was so pretty. Aw. And when she was born, she came out really hairy. Like her whole back was hairy, her butt even. And they're like, don't worry, like that'll fall out. A lot of babies have that. And still, her back is still hairy. It's okay, she gets it from her mama. But yeah, I thought I would just sit down and kind of give you a little bit more insight to that video. And I wanted to sit down before I forget everything. So I guess here's my little birth story a year and a half later. I will see you guys next video. Bye!